What's up? Welcome to another episode of Drink History. We're gonna go ahead and make some of the best cocktails you've had and some that you haven't had.
Yeah.
I'm super stoked about this one. This is our first episode, new format. Got the homie here, and we're about to make, I hear, the most classic cocktail ever.
We're making the Sazerac today.
Bam.
How you doing? I'm John. So first we're gonna start little simple syrup, sugar cube. We're gonna douse it with the ancient Peychaud's bitters. We got cherry and anise, made in New Orleans back in the day. If you walked into an apothecary in the 1800s in New Orleans, you would get this in seltzer, and it was medicine.
So for people who are not as educated, what was an apothecary?
You go to the pharmacist.
Oh, pharmacist. Okay, bam. Okay, cool.
Little bit of water. And we're using a sugar cube here so that we can control the sweetness of our drink as opposed to the dilution. If you're using simple syrup, if you want a sweeter drink, you have to have a more dilute drink. You're just adding more water. So this way, if someone has a second drink or a first drink and they say, oh, you know, I like it a little sweeter next time, just plop another sugar cube in there and you don't have to make it less dilute.
So you said, so this is classic New Orleans bitters. Is this like, what's special? Is like one of the oldest ones, or?
It's basically one of the oldest bitters that's ever made. Yeah, it's cherry and anise. Peychaud had his thing set up in the 1800s. I mean, that was what you were getting back in the day.
So I'm just curious with the whole bitters thing, because you brought this up. I always see like 100 different types of bitters. If you go to like a real good cocktail bar,
Sure.
what's the difference between all the different types of bitters? You know what I mean? Is it like different things that they use to ferment them, or?
So bitters is kind of a misnomer. I mean, these days they do taste a little bitter, but these days it's more apt to call them something like cocktail seasoning or cocktail like spice, basically, because they're the salt and pepper, the oregano.
Okay. So I see. So why do we put ice in that? You're making the cocktail.
So we're cooling this glass down because this drink traditionally doesn't have any ice in it. It's served neat. Oh. So we want to have the coldest glass possible when we start off. So we're going to add 2 ounces Sazerac rye.
Who knows, a little more, you know,
from Buffalo Trace.
And you said
New
originally
Orleans.
This wasn't made with a Sazerac.
This is originally a cognac or a brandy recipe.
Yeah.
Back in the day in the 1800s, you would essentially see cognac, brandy, rye, or bourbon. It was either French or American.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense for New Orleans.
Exactly.
You're French Connect and also American.
Exactly. So, a little bit of ice.
Bam.
And we're gonna stir this to mix and to cool. We don't need to shake this drink because there's no citrus in it.
Okay.
It's just spirit so far.
So also with the stir also, you're not diluting the drink as much as if you were
Exactly. The stirring, depending on the size of the ice, it won't bring nearly as much water to the drink as it would if you were shaking it.
So this is why our man 007 was wrong with his shaken, martini right there.
I mean, it's a preference. No drink order is wrong if that's what you want to drink right then.
007,
you know what I'm
man
saying?
up.
Absolutely.
Do it stirred, not shaken, all right?
So we're gonna turn this ice out and we're gonna rinse this glass with a little bit of absinthe.
Ooh, okay.
Here I've got some
absinthe.
ancient Pernod, straight from France.
So what's the deal with the rinse? Like, why do you do the rinse and why don't you add it to the cocktail?
So the rinse gives a little bit of a different flavor. It's not so empowering as if you just added a ½ ounce or a ¼ ounce even. And it sort of lets the absinthe flavor the drink all the way through it as you're drinking the entire drink.
Okay.
You get more absinthe as it goes, and we toss that out.
Oh, that hurt my body. It's wasted alcohol.
Now, normally this drink is served neat, but we're gonna do something special.
Oh, okay.
We have a lemonade ice ball. Here we got lemon juice, simple syrup, and ice, or water. We're gonna strain the drink.
Why the cube? So I see these cubes. I don't get it. I mean, I get it. Maybe it adds $2 to my drink at the bar. Like I don't know. Why do I do the cube?
So it certainly looks great, right?
Yeah.
Easy to make. But a giant block of ice in there, a block or a cube or a sphere, gives you a lot of cooling power, basically. You want this drink to stay cold the entire time that you're drinking it, which may be 20 minutes, half hour. I mean, if you're pacing yourself, if you're enjoying it, you know what I mean? So, if you put regular ice in here, it's gonna dilute the drink, it's gonna melt within 15 minutes.
Yeah.
A nice big cube or a sphere ice will last way longer.
Nice.
So then we're gonna strain this on top beautifully. And we're gonna do our traditional lemon twist.
Yes.
With a twist. And we're gonna flame this real quick.
Ooh, all right,
Like
hey, a little flair there.
We're gonna caramelize those oils and get a different sort of flavor profile on there. And that's your fire and ice smoky Sazerac.
Ooh, all right. I love that initial sip because you get that initial note of the lemon around the edge, and then you get attacked by this by the absinthe, and then you finally get the full body of the drink right there.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a lot of layers to it.
So why do you think a cocktail like this has lasted so long? Like such an epic, you know what I mean? As you said, it was one of the first cocktails.
I mean, this is a classic. People who enjoy stuff want to go back to the roots. They want to see what the basic, you know what I mean, what the origin story of their favorite drinks is. And this is as basic as you can get. This is spirit, sugar, water, and bitters, and that's the definition of a cocktail.
Awesome. So would you say this is the 101 if somebody was trying to learn how to be a bartender?
Absolutely. I mean, if you show up to an interview and you can't make this drink, you're not hired.
Bam. You heard it first. I appreciate you. The most classic cocktail. New Orleans represent one of my favorite cities I've ever been to. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you stay tuned next week. Like, share, subscribe. That was Drink History.